Hi, welcome to the Recovery Daily Podcast. I'm your host, Rachel Abbasi. I'm a grateful recovering alcoholic and stroke survivor. I don't know why my voice is always cracking and stuff. I imagine that I would not be the best singer on American Idol at this age because my voice is like constantly cracking. Anyway, let's try my radio voice for the podcast today. And your daily writing prompt is describe how you used courage today to face a fear or take a risk. And I can tell you an example of what I did today. And it has a little bit to do with the theme today based on the song Bad Day by Daniel Powder. I know everybody loves that song. So I decided that, my goal for voiceover is the 15th and today is the 13th. So I'm right around the corner. I've got 2 more days. So how is that going? Well, I faced my fear today. I took a risk and I joined my psychiatry appointment. I logged in and everything without looking at my computer, which is a big, gigantic deal. So yay, I can hear you applauding me in the background. So that's what I did today. I used courage to do that. I just had to do it. And it was successful. I have a long way to go still. I have a feeling that I'm not going to be able to do 100% switched over to voiceover because in order to publish one of my episodes, I have to put the music on the beginning and the end of the episode. And I'm not sure that I would be able to do that without vision. So that's okay because as my psychiatrist pointed out today, we're going towards the goal. And if we don't meet the goal, it's fine, but we want to work towards that goal. So that's what I'm doing. So we'll see. I mean, I have to research that. It might be that I get over to voiceover about 90% and I keep working to get over that hump. That's a visual thing, to be able to edit audio and visuals, or I guess audio just for the podcast, because you have to slide the audio file to meet the music file at a certain point in time and all that stuff. It's not that hard. It only takes a second. Let's say literally it probably takes 60 seconds for me to put the music in the beginning and the end of it and save the file. And as long as I don't get my symptoms past a 5 on a scale from 1 to 10, I'm okay to do that. So we'll see. We'll see. And I went down that tangent for a little while. But anyway, the song of the day again is "Bad Day" by Daniel Powder. I think that's how you say his name. And what I wanted to do was talk about my day today because I think you're pretty clear on the fact that I had a bad day yesterday and I just felt bad yesterday. Emotionally, mentally, I was sinking the rest of the day. That's why I recorded early and just kind of shut myself down a little bit. But I wanted to talk about what did I do today after having a day like that yesterday. I wanted to let you know that I did take a risk today, and that was pretty good. What's the risk? I mean, the risk was I end up hanging up on my psychiatrist. That was the risk, but that didn't happen, so that's good. And then I wanted to talk a little bit about, I want to expand on the topic of using the phone picking up the phone instead of texting just a little bit because I had a great experience today with my mom. So, as usual, I wrote down just a couple notes as I listened to the song today. I really like this song because I feel like it speaks to how terrible I feel when I have a bad day. The singer, the lyrics talks about, all the passion is gone out of you, and it just feels like everything is just depleted, and then it is uplifting as well. So I took a couple notes, and this is what I wrote down. I have bad days, and it feels like I'll never get better. All my passion is gone. I fake smiles. All my systems go on the blink. It's hard to turn that around to just having a bad day. I had a bad day one more time. That's all it is, a bad day. That's not how I felt yesterday. Had I wrote down my notes and listened to that song yesterday, they probably would have been a bit different. I probably would have sounded a lot more catastrophizing, and because I know that's what I do. So it's positive that I kind of was able to think reasonably about the day that I had yesterday, because I have to face that again tomorrow. I have to face the therapist, the vestibular therapist, again tomorrow. And I've been spending my time since then, like today, trying to prepare myself for that. So let me just fill you in on how my day was. And I will start by letting you know that, yes, yesterday, Autumn did, in fact, eat a hole in my pajama shirt. So I had to throw it out. And it's frustrating, but meh, I didn't even like that shirt anyway. But the dog needs to learn to not eat my clothes. That doesn't happen very often. But so know that we sacrificed a shirt yesterday. So then after I recorded the episode last night, I laid down. It was really nice, actually. I just laid down. I put the dogs away for bedtime. They go in their crates for nighttime. And I laid in bed, I turned out the lights, and I listened to my new audiobook. And it's with my book club that I'm still a part of with my old company. And the book is called North Woods, a novel by Daniel Mason. And let me tell you, so far, so good. It was so enjoyable. This Daniel Mason, I just love how he writes. It's beautiful. It's like poetic. And I don't know if it's just this book or he always writes like this, but it's so pretty, and it's a good book to sit back and just close your eyes and imagine the scenario that he paints for you with his words. I'm really enjoying it. So I'm going to do that again tonight. That's why I'm recording again really early for me, like 6:45 right now. So I'm looking forward to doing that again. So this is good news that I have found something enjoyable, right? It's always good. So the psychiatrist yesterday, I don't even remember how much I told you yesterday, so forgive me for repeating myself, but the psychiatrist told me yesterday that I need to try to keep my symptoms at a 5 out of 10, a 5 or below, in order to be able to prepare myself for therapy. So I thought, well, this is an opportunity. It's an opportunity for me to really, it supports me going all the way over into voiceover on my Mac. So this is how my day went. I woke up in the morning and I did my AA sobriety meeting. And I took it a little easy on myself in the sobriety meeting. I find myself, you all well know at this point that I'm an overachiever. And typically when I'm sitting in my sobriety meeting, I'm taking lots of notes. I'm actively listening, and every chance I get to, uh, usually, I don't know if you're aware of this, but for those of you who are not in AA, when somebody is about to share, they say, "Hi, my name is Rachel. I'm an alcoholic." And usually, if you're in person, everybody in the room says, "Hi, Rachel." And it's things that they almost in sitcoms, they'll kind of joke about it, or it comes across a little lightheartedly, but it's actually really a nice acknowledgement because you feel heard. And then they say, when you're done sharing, they say, "Thank you. Thanks for sharing. Thank you, Rachel," or something like that. And it's nice. It's really nice to have that, like, "Okay, we heard you." And what was my point? Oh, so typically I'm sitting in the meeting and I'm unmuting myself whenever somebody says that, like introduces themselves or finishes sharing. I'm unmuting. Now I'm doing all of this blind, because I'm on voiceover. And I find myself sometimes trying so hard to unmute myself that I'm missing things in the meeting. So I tried to relax a little bit more this morning and not feel like it's my responsibility to do that. There's 20 other people in the meeting who can see and have the ability to unmute themselves and welcome people and acknowledge that they're speaking. So I'm trying to take a little bit of responsibility off of myself and be a little more gentle. So today I just really relaxed a little more, sat back and listened. I still took notes, but I felt like I wasn't taking notes in order to come up with some sort of profound topic of the day for me to focus on, which is what I usually do. I'm like, this is what I'm going to focus on today in my mind, because I have to obsess about something. So I'm like, oh, I'll obsess today about what it's like to, how you transition from having a bad day like I did yesterday to today. And then I thought, with all of that, with me putting forth that kind of mental effort, it exacerbates my symptoms. I don't know if exacerbates is the right word, but it it just increases them a little bit. So again, I wanted to start relaxing a little bit and see how it would go if I did my podcast with less of a script and more of just bullets. So I'm working from just bullets today. What I fear is that I say a lot more and I say a lot more. So, but I can work on that. Anyway, after I did my AA meeting, then I practiced voiceover because I wanted to see if I could do my psychiatry appointment, a virtual appointment, log on to the meeting. It's not Zoom, but it's another platform just like that. So signing in. So I had to find the bookmark. The bookmark features in my Chrome web app. I had to find that, then find the actual bookmark and navigate to the psychiatrist waiting room and then log in, like check in, and then I would be connected. So I did all of that with my Mac screen black. So that is really commendable. Like, I'm super proud of myself for doing that. And it forced me to practice some of this stuff that I learned. So I did it. So how did my psychiatrist appointment go? Well, I felt like it was pretty good. I did talk to her about how I had a bad day yesterday. And I told her about just feeling a little discouraged always with how nobody seems to agree on what's wrong with me. But um, what was I going to say? See, this is what happens if I don't have a script. But after I talked to her about that, then we dove into this activity hierarchy worksheet that she had given me a couple weeks ago. So if anybody's interested in doing this same thing, I'm finding it beneficial. I mean, we're doing just a little bit at a time. So last week, my homework from my psychiatrist was to write down 15 activities that I want to do. And that is whether it's like, you know, social relationships. I want to talk to my mom once a week or something like that. It can be career-oriented activities that you want to accomplish, hobbies, volunteer work, exercise, spirituality. You want to go to church every Sunday or every Wednesday and Sunday. It can be training if you wanted to, like mine is voiceover. So you write down 15 things that you would like to accomplish in your life in any area possible. Then you, once you write each of those down, you number them, rate them in difficulty. So my difficulty rating is how much it causes pain. That's what mine is. But your difficulty rating could be anything from like you're fighting an emotional obstacle to get these things done. Like I don't know, like you have fear about it or something. Or maybe you struggle with, I just can't seem to get myself motivated. Well, your rating could be, how difficult is it to get myself motivated to go to work? And how difficult is it to get myself motivated to call one friend a day? How difficult is it to get myself motivated to go to church once a week? So that kind of thing. It's probably a little more difficult to get yourself motivated to do, to go running or do yoga or something like that, than it is to get up and go to work every morning. Hopefully it should be easy to get up and go to work. But I know I've been there. Sometimes it's not that easy, and that rating could be increasing. So anyway, you would rate each one on how difficult it is. So I've done all of this already. And the activities I have written down for myself. I won't read them all because I think that would be kind of boring. But 3 that we picked out this week that I'm going to focus on are voiceover, because I actually have a goal to switch over as, 100%. That's the goal, to voiceover by the 15th. So that's one activity that I'm going to focus on over the next week. The second activity is my quilt. I have a goal to complete my quilt by the 19th because it's for somebody. And then I have yoga, and that's a goal as well. My goal for yoga is to do yoga one time over the next 7 days. That's it. And the goal isn't even to do it for an hour. It's to do it for a half an hour. So these are the 3 things. So I have voiceover, and we had to pick like how much and how long am I going to monitor how much I do that activity. So voiceover, I have that I'm going to do it at least a half an hour a day. That's the goal. And then my quilt, I'm going to do at least 1 hour per day. And if that hurts my head, my alternative is to do it twice for a half hour each day. And then finally, yoga is to do it 1 time over the next week for a half an hour. I mean, you can do that, Rachel. Come on. Come on. So that's the activity that we're working on right now. And I have a worksheet that she sent me. I haven't looked at it yet, but it's like she described it to me, where you just write down the activity again. How, did I do it today? Yes. Did I meet my goal for the day? Yes. That kind of thing. So I was feeling really, I guess, motivated after I got off my call with her. I was excited about having some things to focus on for this week, some goals for this week, and I was also really proud of myself for doing the whole thing using voiceover. So that was great. That was a great start to my day. And then after that, I called my mom. And because if you were listening to my episode yesterday, I talked about wanting, like the song made me think of my mom and dad. So I thought, well, today I need to obviously at least call one of them. So I called my mom today, and it turns out she really needed somebody to talk to. So that was awesome, and it allowed me to get out of myself and talk with stuff that she's got going on. And that's where this topic of picking up the phone instead of texting is so important, because I'm a texter. I feel like I text because it takes too much, because I'm lazy. I feel like it takes a lot more energy and motivation for me to pick up the phone and call somebody. But I know how important that is because of my program. And if we call people, we make it a habit to call people on our good days, then when we have a bad day, it's an automatic to pick up the phone and call somebody. But I always think about it from my perspective, and I was talking to my sponsor last night, so grateful that I was thinking I need to call somebody before I go to bed, because I just needed to talk to a human. And at the same time that I was thinking that, she sent me a text and she said, "Are you free to talk now?" And I said, "Yeah," and she called. So we were talking about how when somebody crosses our minds, how it's kind of nice to like just pick up the phone and call that person when they cross your mind. And more often than not, I find that when I do that, the other person that I'm calling needed me. And so I think it's important to not always be focused on yourself and taking the easy way out and texting, because it might just be that person that you're thinking of, the person that you're texting, needs to hear your voice. It's not all about you, we're here for each other as well. And man, it was really nice for me to focus on stuff going on in my mom's life rather than my own. So that's my 2 cents about picking up the phone. And then after I talked to my mom, I've been working on these voiceover diagrams. So I found a picture of a keyboard, like a Mac keyboard that is identical to the one I have on my laptop. And I printed it out, and I'm creating a diagram for voiceover so that it's easier for me to reference it in order to get help fast for using voiceover. So voiceover is really, really complex, and there are just so many combinations of keys in order to make the Mac do what you want it to do. So, in one site that I ran across, they call them levels. So, there's one like level 1 where you only need to hold down like 3 keys, and then level 2 you hold down 4 keys, and it goes all the way up to like level 5. So like at one point you're holding down control, option, shift, H, and that's just to do something like open a help screen or something. I don't know if that's accurate right now because I don't know it well enough, but there are just an endless number of keyboard commands, and so I'm printing out multiple copies of the keyboard, and I'm doing level 1, level 2, level 3. So I'm thinking if I can get this to be something that's easily ingestible for somebody who has the same disorder that I do, or the same whatever it is, visual limitations, disability, whatever you want to call it. If I can create this for somebody who has the same issue as me, then that is so awesome. So another goal, that's what I do. So I call it voiceover for vesties. So vesties is something I ran across, that people with vestibular disorders, they call themselves vesties. So I'm making diagrams, and it's called voiceover for vesties. So I'm kind of excited about that, and I'm trying to do it slow and at a reasonable pace so that I don't hurt my head. But I'm printing out all of the help guides that exist right now for voiceover are pages and pages of lines of text. Oops, sorry, I just banged my head on on a shelf. My hand on a shelf. Sorry if you heard that noise. But there are pages and pages of text, and that hurts my head to read those. So I was thinking, how can I put this into a diagram? So that's why I'm doing it. And hopefully, if it works, I can help others as well. Side note, the reason why my hand hit the shelf is because I'm talking with my hands, even though nobody can see me. Okay. So worked a little bit on my voiceover for vesties. And then after that, I took each dog out for a walk, and I took my Weimaraner all the way around the block. And then I took my bulldog like half of the block. So I walked a block and a half. After that, I reached above a 5 with my symptoms. So the puppies and I laid down for what we call, quote unquote, cuddle time. So we all laid down. 3 hours later, we woke up, and I had some dinner. I'm still going strong as a vegan. I had a really good dinner tonight. It was kale and Brussels sprouts, like chopped up together. And then there's this cilantro, kind of lemon olive oil dressing. And then there's a walnut parsley salad that it's kind of hard to explain, but and that was sprinkled over top, and then I made a lemon thyme quinoa, and I mixed it all together. It was pretty freaking good. It's like 3 different recipes, and I mixed them all together, and it was really, really good. I wanted something warm. I don't know why, because it's warm outside. I feel like a chatterbox today. So now I'm doing my podcast, and here we are, and it's 7:00, and I think I'm gonna probably, depending on my head, work on my quilt for a little bit. I'm feeling pretty heightened right now. I'm about at a 7, so I might have to lay down again. Anyway, that's where we're at, and I feel good. So I think it's important, this song, Bad Day, I encourage you to listen to that when you have a bad day. I have found the song's been around for a while, but I find that whenever I had kind of forgotten how much I like hearing that song when I'm having a bad day or the day after I have a bad day, because it puts things into perspective for me, because that's all it is. It's a bad day. It's not a bad life. It's a bad day. And in order to, I always feel like when we have a bad day, the next day has got to be better. It has to be. I remember the other day my daughter had a bad day, and she called and she was talking to us on the phone. And when we were getting ready to hang up the phone, I was like, okay, well, I hope you feel better. I'm sure you'll have a good day tomorrow. And she was like, I don't know. And I was like, it's a guarantee. When you have a bad day, the next day is always better. It has to be. So, yeah. And it was. She had a much better day the next day. End of the story. Just to round that story out. Okay. Well, that's it. That's all I have for the day. The pooches are in their crates right now for the podcast because I don't have any more pajamas that I can spare. So they were in the crate. So thank you so much for joining me today on this roller coaster I call Recovery Daily Podcast. I love you, my audience. I really, really, truly do. And I will talk to you tomorrow.